Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations where we generally look at one or another of the lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the Daily Office Lectionary. And I bid you a blessed and holy Friday morning. And today I thought we would take a look actually at the lesson that we have from the book of Daniel, book of the prophet Daniel. Now we've been working our way through this, and we know Daniel is a part of the great Exodus. God has taken the people of the Jews out of the promised land for a period of time because of their unfaithfulness, and some of them end up in Babylon under King Nebuchadnezzar. And Daniel ends up being a wonderful prophet, not just for the people of the Jews, but that God uses Daniel to help the leaders of Babylon to understand what they have, having people of the living God. And so we're on chapter 5. To kind of give you some background, Nebuchadnezzar has this big banquet, and in his drunkenness and in his arrogance, he has them bring the vessels that they've taken from the temple in Jerusalem, and the golden vessels for part of the worship, and he's using them for the party, right? He's, woohoo, we're in charge, we rule the world, let's use those things. And even though his father was certainly one who feared the living God, Nebuchadnezzar in his arrogance does this, and then he sees a hand appear and starts writing on the walls, right? It's a very famous story about that. So that's where we pick up the story. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods, and in the days of thy father light and understanding and wisdom. Like the wisdom of the gods was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the musicians the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge, and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, who the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto him, Daniel, art Daniel, which art the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is with thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee, that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. And the lesson leaves off at that for today. Now, some of you are saying, this sounds vaguely familiar. Why does this sound so familiar? Well, in addition to knowing the story in the big picture, well, it was also the first half of the lesson that we had at evening prayer on Sunday. Remember, we talk about the daily office lectionary, the morning and evening prayer lectionary, that it's sequential Monday through Saturday, but the Sunday lessons are assigned to correspond with what we are learning about in the lesson assigned for the Holy Communion for those particular Sundays after Trinity. So we actually read this. So it's a bit of a recap, and you'll have to go ahead and read ahead in the book Daniel to find out what exactly that interpretation is about. But here we have this recognition that Daniel, even though he doesn't understand that he's not one who knows the work of the gods with an S, but of course Daniel is inspired by the living God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? This is not a magic trick. He's not a soothsayer. He's not reading fortunes. He's being inspired by God, the Holy Spirit, who is helping him to understand what work it is that God is doing in trying to show this interpretation this morning to the king of Babylon. So today is Friday, as I mentioned, and as I'm away on holiday, and so we are certainly looking forward to our return. But until then, we're going to continue these morning meditations so that we can think about what God has said to us in the past and how he's speaking to us now in the present and in the future as well. So even though this Daniel happened a long time ago, we are learning more and more about the nature of God and his dominion and providence in the world. And I hope you have a fantastic Friday. May God bless you.